Did you know that the very appliance you trust to keep your food safe, your refrigerator, could actually be turning common everyday foods into hidden health hazards? It sounds alarming, doesn't it? We rely on our fridges, thinking they're the ultimate guardians of freshness. But what if I told you that for certain foods, the cold environment isn't just unhelpful, it could be actively undermining your health, especially as we get older? Statistics show that millions suffer from food-related illnesses each year, and seniors, often with more vulnerable immune systems, are disproportionately affected. While we often worry about food left out too long, the shocking truth is that some dangers lurk inside the cold confines of your fridge. Are you making simple storage mistakes that could be costing you vital nutrients, affecting your digestion, or even exposing you to harmful compounds? Stick with me through this important discussion. If you find this information valuable, and I believe you will, please give this video a like and consider subscribing for more health insights designed specifically for staying strong and vital as we age. And let us know in the comments below where you're watching from. It's always wonderful to connect with our community. Today, we're going to uncover 9 common foods that you should never store in your refrigerator. Some of these might truly surprise you. We've been taught certain habits, perhaps for generations, but science and a deeper understanding of food chemistry reveal a different story. Storing these items incorrectly doesn't just spoil their taste or texture. It can trigger harmful chemical reactions, deplete essential nutrients your body needs, and in some cases, create environments where dangerous bacteria or molds can thrive. The first item on our list is particularly concerning because refrigeration doesn't just make it less nutritious. It can lead to the formation of chemicals you definitely want to avoid. Let's dive in and protect our health, starting right now. The humble potato. A comforting staple in so many kitchens, right? We bake them, mash them, roast them. Many of us, without a second thought, toss the bag of raw potatoes straight into the crisper drawer of the fridge, believing we're extending their life. But here's the unsettling truth. Refrigerating raw potatoes triggers an insidious change within them. You see, the cold temperature causes the potato's starch to convert into sugar much more rapidly than it normally would. This might not sound terrible initially, but the danger emerges when you cook these refrigerated potatoes. When those excess sugars are exposed to high heat, like baking, frying, or roasting, they can react with an amino acid naturally present in potatoes called asparagine to form a chemical called acrylamide. Now, acrylamide is a substance that studies have linked to potential health concerns, and ongoing research is exploring its effects on humans. Why take that risk? Beyond this chemical concern, refrigeration fundamentally ruins the potato's texture. The cold and moisture make them gritty, strangely sweet, and often develop hard spots or discoloration. Ever had roast potatoes that were disappointingly sweet or had an odd, slightly tough texture? Your refrigerator might be the culprit. So what's the smarter choice? Keep your potatoes out of the fridge. Find a cool, dark, dry place, like a pantry, a cellar, or even a paper bag in a cupboard away from light and moisture. This preserves their texture, their flavor, and most importantly, helps you avoid that unnecessary formation of acrylamide. Go check your fridge right now. Are there potatoes in there? It's time to liberate them for safer, tastier meals. Next up, bread. Whether it's a hearty whole wheat loaf, a crusty baguette, or simple sandwich bread, it's a daily staple for many. And the common wisdom seems to be, put it in the fridge, it'll last longer. Right? Wrong. This is one of the most counterintuitive food storage mistakes, and it's actively working against you. Putting bread in the refrigerator actually speeds up the starling process. There's a scientific term for it, retrogradation. But all you need to know is that the cold temperature causes the starch molecules in the bread to crystallize much faster than they do at room temperature. What does this mean for your daily slice? Your bread becomes dry, tough, and crumbly far sooner than if you just left it on the counter. That soft, satisfying texture you love, gone. Replaced by something disappointingly chewy and stale. And it gets worse. While the cold inhibits some mold growth, the fluctuating moisture levels when you take the bread in and out of the fridge, combined with the changing texture, can sometimes create pockets where mold can still take hold, especially if the bread isn't perfectly sealed. For seniors whose immune systems might be more sensitive, accidentally ingesting mold spores or the mycotoxins they can produce is a risk we absolutely want to avoid. So, how do you keep bread fresh? For short-term storage, a few days, keep it in a bread box or a well-sealed bag at room temperature. If you want to preserve it for longer, your freezer is your best friend, not the fridge. Slice the bread before freezing, then you can just take out the slices you need and thaw them or toast them directly. Protect your loaf. Keep it out of the cold, harsh environment of the refrigerator. Onions in the fridge? Many people do it, especially after they've cut one open. But whole, uncut onions really suffer when stored in the cold, damp environment of your refrigerator. That papery outer skin is nature's perfect packaging, designed to keep moisture out. When you put whole onions in the fridge, the high humidity causes them to absorb moisture. What happens then? They become soft, mushy, and tragically prone to developing mold. You might notice them getting slimy or developing dark spots much faster than usual. That's the moisture working against the onion's natural defenses. But perhaps the most immediate and annoying problem is odor transfer. Onions release pungent sulfur compounds, especially in the cold. These odors don't just stay with the onion, they permeate your entire refrigerator like an unwanted guest. Ever opened your fridge and been hit with an oniony smell? Or worse, tasted a hint of onion in your butter or even your fruit? It's not your imagination. The fridge air circulates these strong smells, tainting other foods. Now, what about cut onions? Okay, once sliced or chopped, they do need refrigeration for safety, but use them quickly, ideally within a day or two, and store them in a truly airtight container to minimize odor spread and bacterial growth. For whole onions, however, the rule is clear. Keep them out of the fridge. Store them like potatoes, in a cool, dark, dry, and well-ventilated place. A mesh bag or a basket in the pantry works perfectly. This preserves their firmness, flavor, and prevents your fridge from smelling like an onion patch. Ah, the beautiful tomato. Is it a fruit? Is it a vegetable? Botanically a fruit, culinarily often used as a vegetable, but one thing is certain: it does not belong in your refrigerator if you want to enjoy its true flavor and texture. This might be one of the most common food storage sins. Tomatoes are sensitive souls, originating in warmer climates. Cold temperatures are their enemy. When you put a tomato in the fridge, the cold air halts the natural ripening process. Those complex enzymes responsible for developing the sugars and volatile compounds that give tomatoes their incredible taste, they basically shut down. The cold also damages the membranes inside the fruit's walls. What's the result? You get a tomato that is mealy, watery, and utterly bland. That vibrant, juicy, slightly acidic burst of flavor you expect? It's gone, replaced by a disappointing, dull taste. The texture suffers just as badly, becoming mushy and losing that pleasant firmness. The skin can even become wrinkled and tough. If you've ever bitten into a slice of tomato that tasted like cardboard and felt like wet paper, chances are it suffered the chilling fate of refrigeration. Beyond taste and texture, chilling can also reduce some of the beneficial compounds in tomatoes, like certain antioxidants. Why compromise? Keep your tomatoes on the counter, out of direct sunlight, ideally stem side down. This can help prevent moisture loss. Let them ripen fully at room temperature to develop their best flavor. If they get very ripe, use them quickly in cooking, sauces, or soups. But please, rescue your tomatoes from the cold. Garlic, hailed as a superfood, packed with compounds like allicin, known for supporting the immune system and cardiovascular health. We chop it, mince it, roast it whole. Surely keeping this health hero in the fridge is a good idea? Think again. Refrigeration can actually diminish its benefits and, in some specific cases, even introduce a serious risk. Whole, unpeeled garlic bulbs thrive in cool, dark, airy conditions, not the cold, damp fridge. Refrigeration encourages garlic cloves to sprout prematurely. You might see those little green shoots emerging. While sprouted garlic isn't necessarily harmful to eat, it's a sign that the flavor is changing, often becoming harsher or more bitter. More importantly, the sprouting process indicates that the chemical composition is shifting, and levels of beneficial compounds like allicin can decrease. You're losing some of the very health power you value garlic for. But here's the truly critical warning, especially concerning chopped or minced garlic stored in oil. Clostridium botulinum. This is the bacterium that causes botulism, a rare but potentially fatal illness. Garlic itself can sometimes carry these spores, and storing it in oil creates an oxygen-free environment where these spores, if present, can multiply, especially under refrigeration if not properly acidified. While commercial preparations are treated to be safe, homemade garlic and oil mixtures stored improperly in the fridge pose a genuine risk. Health authorities strongly advise against this unless specific, safe preservation methods like acidification are used. So, what's the safe and smart way? Store whole garlic bulbs at room temperature in a well-ventilated spot. A mesh bag or a garlic keeper is ideal. Use chopped or minced garlic promptly. If you prepare garlic in oil, use it immediately or freeze it for longer storage. Don't let refrigeration compromise the power, flavor, or safety of your garlic. Coffee lovers, listen up. Whether you buy whole beans or ground coffee, you want to protect that precious aroma and flavor. Many believe the fridge is the place to keep it fresh. However, coffee is highly porous and sensitive. Storing it in the refrigerator is one of the worst things you can do to it. Think of coffee grounds or beans like tiny sponges. They are hygroscopic, meaning they readily absorb moisture and odors from their surroundings. When you put coffee in the fridge, it starts soaking up the smells of everything else in there. Onions, leftovers, cheese, you name it. This completely ruins the delicate flavor profile of your coffee, leading to a brew that might taste flat, stale, or just plain weird. Beyond absorbing odors, moisture itself is coffee's enemy. Every time you take the coffee container out of the cold fridge and open it in the warmer room air, condensation forms on the beans or grounds. This moisture degrades the essential oils that give coffee its rich flavor and aroma, and its potential antioxidant benefits. It leads to clumping and accelerates the stalling process. In damp conditions, coffee grounds can even become susceptible to mold growth if not stored perfectly airtight. Want to keep your coffee tasting its best? Store it at room temperature in an opaque, airtight container. Keep it away from light, heat, and moisture. A dark cupboard or pantry is perfect. Buy smaller quantities more frequently if needed, or if you buy in bulk, portion out what you'll use in a week or two and freeze the rest in an airtight container. But once thawed, don't refreeze. Let your coffee live its best life outside the fridge. Honey, nature's liquid gold. It's naturally sweet, has antibacterial properties, and can last practically forever at room temperature thanks to its unique composition, low water content, high acidity. So why would anyone put it in the fridge? Perhaps thinking it prevents something. Whatever the reason, it's a mistake. Refrigerating honey causes it to crystallize rapidly. It turns thick, grainy, hard, and almost impossible to pour or spread. While crystallized honey isn't spoiled, you can gently warm it to liquefy it again. The process of refrigeration fundamentally works against its natural perfection. But it's not just about texture. Repeatedly opening and closing a container of crystallizing honey in the fridge can introduce tiny amounts of moisture, especially if air pockets form. Honey hates moisture. Excess moisture can dilute its natural acidity and potentially lead to fermentation over time, giving it a sour taste and aroma. It can also compromise the natural enzymatic and antibacterial properties that make honey so special. Cold temperatures slow down these beneficial enzymes. The best way to store honey? Exactly how bees and centuries of humans intended, in an airtight container at stable room temperature, away from direct sunlight and extreme heat. A cupboard or pantry is ideal. Let honey remain the naturally preserved liquid marvel it is. Keep it out of the cold. Bananas, easy to eat, packed with potassium, great for energy. Many seniors rely on them for a quick, digestible snack. But putting them in the fridge, especially before they're fully ripe, is a recipe for disappointment. Bananas are tropical fruits designed for warmth. Cold temperatures inflict what's known as chilling injury. Refrigeration effectively stops the ripening enzymes in their tracks. If you put a green or yellow-green banana in the fridge, it may never properly ripen. The skin will turn dull, brown, or even black very quickly, but the fruit inside often remains hard, starchy, and flavorless. That blackened skin isn't just unsightly, it signals damage beneath. The texture of a refrigerated banana often becomes oddly mushy in some spots, while remaining firm in others, and it can develop an unpleasant, slightly metallic aftertaste. Furthermore, some of the beneficial antioxidants naturally present in bananas, which contribute to brain health and fight cellular stress, important for aging well, can be degraded by the cold. You're inadvertently stripping away some of the goodness. Plus, the moisture that can gather inside the peel in the cold, damp fridge environment, especially near the stem, can encourage mold growth, particularly if the banana was already slightly bruised or overripe. Instead of preserving it, you might be creating a hazard. Keep bananas on the counter to ripen naturally. A banana hanger can help prevent bruising. If they get too ripe too quickly, peel them, slice them, and freeze them in an airtight container. They're perfect for smoothies or baking later. But the fridge? It's a no-go zone for happy bananas. And finally, the #1 food on our list, perhaps the most surprising to some, olive oil. Especially extra virgin olive oil, celebrated for its heart-healthy, monounsaturated fats and antioxidants. Surely keeping this precious oil cool is beneficial? Absolutely not. Refrigerating olive oil is not only unnecessary, but can actually degrade its quality and potentially diminish its health benefits. When olive oil gets cold, the natural fats and waxes begin to solidify, making the oil cloudy and thick, sometimes even forming solid clumps. While this process, solidification itself, isn't inherently harmful and the oil will become liquid again at room temperature, the real problem lies in the repeated temperature fluctuations if you take the oil in and out of the fridge frequently. Each cycle of chilling and warming stresses the oil's chemical structure. This accelerates oxidation, the process where the oil reacts with oxygen, creating free radicals and breaking down the very beneficial compounds like polyphenols and antioxidants that make olive oil so healthy. Over time, this oxidative damage can turn your heart-healthy oil into something less beneficial, potentially even contributing to inflammation, something seniors often strive to reduce. Think about it. You're paying a premium for high-quality olive oil for its health perks, only to potentially damage it with improper storage. Refrigeration also dulls olive oil's complex, nuanced flavors, those peppery, fruity, or grassy notes characteristic of good quality oil. Why compromise taste and health? The solution is simple. Store olive oil like fine wine. Keep it in a cool, dark place. A pantry or cupboard is perfect. Use a dark glass bottle or a metal tin to protect it from light. Keep it away from heat sources like the stove. Stored correctly, good olive oil retains its flavor and health benefits beautifully at room temperature. So there you have it. 9 everyday foods that suffer in the cold confines of your refrigerator. Potatoes, bread, onions, tomatoes, garlic, coffee, honey, bananas, and olive oil. It's clear that the fridge isn't the universal safe haven for food we might assume it is. Understanding how to store food correctly isn't just about taste or preventing waste. It's a crucial part of protecting your health, ensuring you get the nutrients you need, and avoiding hidden hazards. Knowledge is power. Now that you're aware of these common pitfalls, you can make smarter choices in your own kitchen. Take a moment today to check how you're storing these items. Are there any changes you need to make? It's these small, informed adjustments that contribute significantly to maintaining vitality and well-being as we age. Prioritize real food, stored properly. Were you surprised by any of the foods on this list? What's one change you plan to make after watching this? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Let's learn from each other. If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends or family who might benefit, and subscribe to our channel for more practical health advice to help you live your healthiest, strongest life. Thank you so much for watching. Stay informed, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next video.